Well, hello, everyone, and anyone who's tuning into the recording. Welcome, all of you. My name is Chelsea. I think I know most everyone who's signed up, but if you're new to me, hello, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll be practicing an extended Yin Yoga class today. And so if you are tuning into the recording, go ahead and grab a couple of blankets, a couple of pillows, whatever you have around home is perfect. If you have two things that are kind of similar size or similar thickness or firmness, that can be nice, so you can have one right and one left. And then also if you have an essential oil or any other creature comforts that you like to have for your practice, go ahead and gather those. And then we'll start in just a comfortable seat. As you're getting settled in, I'll give you a little bit of context for where we're headed this evening. Yin Yoga combines the poses of Hatha Yoga. We'll be seated or reclined for all of our poses today, and then brings that together with mindfulness meditation and traditional Chinese medicine. And so today's class is sequenced to support your inner spring. In traditional Chinese medicine, the physical body and the energetic body and the seasons around us and our senses and our emotions are all interwoven when we approach the experience of being a human on this planet in a really holistic way. And so the spring season in our physical body is connected to the liver and the gallbladder. We'll be working with those organs and the meridians or energy channels that correspond to those organs as well. And my intention is to give you a space to really nourish whatever is bubbling up within you, whatever is ready to spring forth as we move into this new season, and to really support your body, heart, mind in transitioning from the winter hibernation into the awakening of spring, hopefully in a way that feels really nourishing, that feels easeful, and that allows you to just kind of sink into the new rhythms of the spring. And so with that, go ahead and just let your eyes start to close down. If you have a blanket, you can sit your hips right up onto the edge of it, or anything else that gives you a nice tall spine. And take a couple big circles with your shoulders. And with an exhale, let your shoulders settle down and back. And the shoulder blades resting onto your back like wings. Your elbows get heavy. And one palm facing down for grounding, connection to the earth below. And one palm facing up, and a gesture of receptivity, open to receiving what's to come. Let your gaze be soft, or close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you in your space. And start to come into your senses. And take a moment to just notice what you're arriving with on your mat today. If your mind is really busy, just know that it's busy. No judgment, no attachment. You might notice the rhythm of your breath. In these first few moments, allowing your body and your attention to fully arrive onto your mat. Letting your thoughts catch up here to your physical body. A little more distance between whatever came before now in the first part of your day and this breath. Notice the farthest away sound that you can hear. In my space, I hear raindrops drip, drip onto the ceiling. Maybe you hear cars moving by or passers-by. The sounds of spring, and waking up around you. And draw your attention inward. Notice any sounds within your space. The sound of my voice, and the sounds of you settling in. Maybe the sound of your own breath or heartbeat. And become aware of the firmness of the ground below you. And the texture of your props and your clothing. And the temperature of the air that grazes your skin. Notice any smells, any tastes. And even with eyes closed, is there anything coming in through your closed eye visual field? Any light or colors or textures? And your sense of awareness of the space that you're in, your relationship to gravity. And finally, let your awareness land on your breath. And just watch as your breath rises and expands as you breathe in. And then moves in and down as you breathe out. Really presence yourself to the felt experience of your breath. As you inhale, where do you feel your breath most in your body? Maybe you notice the way your ribcage expands to make more room for your breath to fill up, all the way to the very top. And open mouth, exhale. Let that whole breath fall out. And perhaps bringing with it felt sense of letting go, of arriving or settling in. And a few more times, full, nourishing inhales. You might imagine as air comes in, lights up every cell in your body. Bright, awakening. Fill all the way up to the very top of your breath. Pause there. And open mouth, long exhale. And 2 more rounds of breath in this way. Your own pace, maybe 1 or 2 counts longer than your habit as you inhale. And exhale 1 or 2 counts longer than your inhale. Empty all the way out. At the bottom of your exhale, gently draw your navel toward your spine. And once more, longest, deepest, most invigorating breath of your day so far. And big release, and sighing out remnants of winter, and stillness, stagnation, anything else that's ready to be released. Let your breath restart in your own natural way. There's no prescribed breath in Yin Yoga. And I will invite you to stay with your breath and feeling where you notice your inhales and exhales, and how your breath informs your experience of each pose. And serving as a net to catch your attention and to help keep you present and in your body when your mind begins to wander. Let your breath bring you back. And stay exactly as you are for as long as you need to fully arrive. And our first yin pose will be reclined. In your own time, come down onto your back, legs long, arms at your sides. Mini shavasana. Eyes can stay soft or closed. If you have an essential oil, go ahead and put some in your palms, on the inside of your wrists. As you recline back, rub your palms together, find a few big, deep breaths. Allowing the scent of your oils to fill your body like a blooming inner spring. Our sense of smell so closely connected to memory. And bypassing our conscious filters. Sense of smell and help to shift your state of being without even having to think about it. Just notice as you breathe in, does this smell transport you? As you're ready, let your hands come down to your sides. And feel all of the places where your body touches the ground below. Your shoulders drop heavy. And soften the space between your eyebrows. Like your eyebrows are so relaxed, they could maybe slide off on the sides of your face. And soften your eyes and temples. And separate your back teeth. Relax your jaw and your cheeks. And let your tongue slide down and back. As though you're swallowing all language. And allowing your thinking mind to take a break. As you settle into your feeling and sensing body. A new spring. And this day is not like the rest. A new spring uncovers glimmering hints of hope from winter months spent in corners of cozy. A new you rises, blooming like the season. You're a day older, perhaps a whole year. You are wiser, yet still the same as you ever were. In this process of becoming a little more in your skin. And breathe in. And breathe out. And the promise is new beginnings. Stains, skin tainted by light, unfolding into day. And these days, they are different. Dust the shelves, pull back the curtains, and clean out the closet and remove the layers, especially the ones worn to conceal your heart. Breathe in. And sigh it out. You are lighter, and in her warmth, you are brighter, because on this March day, the season is new, and so are you. And breathe in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, let out some sound. Waking up your vocal cords, big release. Moving toward Banana Asana. Get your arms up overhead. Get a good morning stretch. Waking up from winter hibernation. Might stretch up and over a little to the right or to the left. Wiggle fingers and toes. And coming back into your body. As though rediscovering something new. And savoring each micro movement. Let your hands and heels drop heavy. And we'll start walking hands and feet over toward the right side of your mat. And bring your feet as far over to the right as they'll reach. And before your left hip starts to lift off of the ground. And if you notice your left hip wanting to roll up, just step your feet back a half step towards center. And let both of your hips stay grounded, supported. An option to cross one ankle over the other. And arms and shoulders up and over toward the top right corner of your mat. And the elbows can bend as much as you like. You might rest one hand into the other. Let your grip remain open. And palms and fingertips soft. Relax both shoulders down onto your mat. In Yin Yoga, we practice in stillness. I like to think of it as a very organic stillness. Always room to breathe, to adjust or readjust as often as you need. And we hold the poses over time. And we get curious about sensation. Moving into a pose just deep enough that you can feel it. But in a place where your muscles can remain soft and as relaxed as they're able. And the magic of this practice unfolds in the time that we hold each pose, not in the intensity of the pose. It's an invitation to really tune into the subtleties of sensation. And that very first edge, where you start to feel some resistance, maybe a deep stretch. And follow the sensation within your body. As you inhale, maybe you notice your left side ribs fan open. And really breathe into all of that space. As you exhale, where can you soften even just 1% more? Yin Yoga is a sensation-based practice. That means you are the only one who will know how you feel in any given pose. Sensations, okay, even big sensation, dull achiness, deep compression. You never want anything to feel painful. Anything that's hot or sharp or twingy. Those are all messages from your body that you would come out or readjust. Readjust your props. Or maybe take a different pose altogether. I'm always happy to offer ways to modify. Let your body be your first teacher. And come back into your breath. We're here just about one more minute. You might trace your breath with your closed eye vision, your inward facing eye. As you inhale, starting all the way from the center of your big toe, your left foot. Feel the entire outside of your left leg, left hip, left side ribs, reaching up and out, and all the way up to your fingertips as you inhale. And as you exhale, back down from fingers to toes on your right side, and softening into the interior contour of your body. And breathing in the center of your left big toe, all the way along the outside of your left foot and ankle, and the outside of your left leg, left hip, and left side body, all the way up to your fingertips, like a spring sprout, reaching up and out toward the sun. And just as long as you exhale, softening down the right side of your body, from fingers to toes. You'll hear the sound of a chime, distinct from the sound bowls. And that'll be our symbol for transition. In just a moment, when you hear that chime, find one of your biggest, deepest breaths of your day so far. And let that help to prepare your body for movement. Big breath in. Easy breath out. Release your hands down to your sides. Mindfully walk your feet back towards center, uncrossing your ankles if they were crossed. We'll pause in a mini shavasana, a rebound pose, to let that first shape and all of its benefits settle into your body. And track for internal shifts in sensation, internal movement. Maybe you feel a rush of energy or shift in circulation. This internal tracking is an advanced practice. You may not feel much, and that's okay too. And take these integration poses just for a few rounds of mindful breath. And allow yourself to be with whatever is there. As you're ready, inhale your arms overhead once again. Big good morning stretch. So you could breathe all the way from your tiptoes to your fingertips. You find just a little more length. Breathe in to anywhere there's spaciousness available. And exhale, let hands and feet drop heavy onto your mat. And slowly walk both of your feet toward the bottom left corner of your space. And arms reach up and over toward the top left corner. And you'll have an idea on this side of where you're headed. You can use that first side as a reference point. And stay open to the possibility that this side might need something totally different. You might cross your ankles differently. You might find that there's more space to open up into on this side. Maybe your elbows are wider. And part of the practice of Yin Yoga is practice being present with what is. Noticing sensations, thoughts, emotions as they rise and pass. No need to attach or respond. And the element of spring is wood. You might picture a spring sapling. If you were to break off a twig, you'd see bright green, lush, flexible fibers inside, able to bend without breaking. Yin Yoga helps us to create a similar experience within our physical body. When the muscles are relaxed, we can work into the connective tissues, ligaments and tendons, and the muscle fascia that runs all underneath the muscles in the body and around and through. Working with these poses and with the meridians, we're able to call on these parts of the body, just asking them to do their job. And tapping into the innate wisdom of your body to harmonize and balance itself. And stimulating the production of fibroblasts and collagen, and hydrating the body from the inside out. And so that we too can remain supple, flexible, and supporting range of motion, mobility for many years to come. And just as trees will naturally grow up toward the sun, and spreading out their leaves to catch light, ever reaching up and out. Our inner spring is connected to our sense of vision, both physically and metaphorically. Maintaining your vision even as we stay flexible to bend, navigate around obstacles, while still reaching up and out, following your vision. And this time we're supported in envisioning what it is that you want to reach toward this season. We move chi or life force energy through the body with physical manipulation, the poses, the shapes that you make with your body, as well as with breath and with visualization. You might again follow from the center of your big toe, this time on your right side, in the beginning of the liver meridian. It runs both right side and left. As you inhale, imagine tracing, following your breath along the outside of your right foot, right leg, fanning out across your right side rib cage, around your shoulder girdle, and all the way up to your fingertips. Like that new sapling reaching up and out toward the sun. An easy exhale down the left side of your body. And softening your left side as you let all of your breath fall out. And continuing again, inhale, following the outside of your body. Big crescent moon or banana shape. And noticing all the little spaces where your breath can fill in and expand. And savoring the spaciousness your breath offers. And as you exhale, where can you soften? Allow your body to drop a little deeper into the tug of gravity. And one of your deepest breaths. Let it feel really good as you fill up all the way to the very top. Maybe sip in one more little bit of air. And let it go. Especially when we're holding these poses for several minutes. Big intentional breath helps to communicate to your body that you're going to move again. And coming back toward neutral. Walk your feet to the center of your mat. Release your hands down by your sides. And perhaps on this side you notice a sense of coming back into balance. Maybe one side feels longer or heavier than the other. Let yourself step into the role of observer, witnessing your breath, observing sensation. Maybe you feel something tingly. Maybe you notice the texture of the ground below you. And with this little effort as possible, roll onto your left side, yin side. Lunar, cooling, calming energy. Rest your head to the inside of your bicep or supported fetal posture. This little seed-like shape, full of potential. Just as one small acorn holds the future of a mighty forest, all that you desire to create in this season already lies within you. Tune into what is bubbling up, ready to surface, ready to be birthed into the newness of spring. And we'll come back up to a seat when you're ready, gently pressing your hands to the ground to guide you up. We'll set up for half dragonfly pose. And if you do have a blanket, go ahead and fold that just a time or two. You can sit the edges of your hips up onto your blanket or your cushion. And we'll start with right leg long, left knee is bent. Your right leg will extend out into a half V shape. And your left foot comes toward the inseam of your right leg, but doesn't need to touch. Maybe it does if that feels intuitive and that's kind of where you land. Otherwise, your left knee can just point out at any angle toward your left side. Yeah, so we're just in kind of half butterfly with your left leg and then dragonfly with your right leg. And we'll start here with a side stretch. You walk your right fingers toward the outside of your right leg, maybe all the way toward your heel. And if you have a prop here, you can rest your elbow onto. I find that can be really nice. Something like a block, a cushion. And then inhale your left arm up and overhead. And as you exhale, let your left elbow bend and rest your hand to the back of your head. If you have a prop for your right elbow, you might bend that arm as well, and you can rest your head onto your hand for support. And we're feeling for sensation here along your left side body and the inseam of your right leg. And so either or both of those places. And tune in and just notice if there's a particular place where the sensation feels the loudest, where you're feeling the most sensation. And let your awareness just sort of hover there. Right at the heart of that sensation, visualize a bright green, warm light, like the bright green of mosses in the forest, right as the sun hits. And with each exhale, visualize that light is kind of dissipating, expanding outward into the spaces that surround it, becoming a little fainter, a little softer green as it extends out in all directions. Letting the sensation do the same. Maybe softening and dissipating into the surrounding areas. Let your eyes be soft. Relax your jaw. See if you can release any effort from the muscles in your face, your hands and feet. Knowing that there will be times when you get all relaxed and then all of a sudden one of your muscles is active again. And that's no problem. The muscles are just doing their job, protecting the body, holding you together. And this is where our props can come in really handy. They help to let your body know that you don't have to work to hold the poses. You can let your props and your mat, your bones and gravity hold the pose for you. And the ligaments and tendons and sinews of the body are also connected to the spring season. Yin yoga is such a nourishing practice for these deep, dense connective tissues. And full breath in, really breathing into the space in your left side lungs. Left side ribs fan open. Maybe you find just a little more space between your left hip and your left elbow. And open mouth exhale. And drop your gaze down toward your right leg. And let your hands come to frame your extended right leg. And we'll stay here for an inhale. We'll send your tailbone back and your heart forward. Really feeling your lungs fill way down into your low belly, into both sides, the space between your shoulders, and all the way into your upper chest. Open mouth exhale, pour that whole breath out as you soften into your elbows. Let your spine round. You can rest your weight into your hands or your forearms. You might build a little bridge over your right shin to catch your forehead. Or if you have something like a yoga bolster, it doesn't have to be a yoga bolster, but a firm cushion, you can stand on one end. You might even rest that at the top of your foot, and then your forehead can rest to the other end like a third eye telescope. And we'll be here for about 2 minutes, so take all the time that you need to set up your props, adjust and readjust. And the most effort of Yin Yoga is really just in building the pose. Once you have your pose set up, nothing more that you need to do, nothing you need to make happen or strive towards. This is your time to just be. and trusting the natural timing, the unfolding of your inner spring awakening. And the color of spring is green. Like a bright green forest, dappled in sunlight. Ferns growing lush on the forest floor. Bright green leaves reaching out toward the sun. Mosses dripping from branches. And lichen scattered around. Notice where you feel your breath most present in your body right now. As you exhale, let that place soften, even just 1% more. And breathe in. And breathe out. And we'll come out of the pose in a yin way, and slowly and mindfully. And bring your hands to frame your right leg once again. And we'll slowly stack your spine back into one long line, uncurling from low back to mid back, and eventually shoulders over hips and head over shoulders. And take a gentle counter twist over toward your left side if that would feel nice. You might come into an easy seat or a mini shavasana. As you're ready to move, use both hands to help lift your right knee like it's really heavy. Been hanging out in your soft tissues for a while, so you might feel a whole new sensation as you come out. And trust your intuition. If your body is asking to squeeze your knees into your chest, you can wrap yourself in a big hug. You can find stillness in any shape that suits you. Or maybe your body's asking for mindful movement here. A little self-massage, maybe a windshield wiper motion with your knees side to side. And if you're moving, you stay present to the ever-shifting sensations. You don't even need to have a name for each sensation. Maybe just notice the location. Maybe it's a loud sensation. Maybe it's really soft, very subtle, hard to detect. And we'll set up for side two. Bring any props that you wanted to have for the first side and just rearrange them to the other side of your mat. And extend your left leg long this time. And right knee is bent. And let the whole outside of your right leg just kind of rest down onto your mat. If there's space underneath your right knee, you would just bring a prop there and fill it in so there's nothing hanging out in space. Again, that lets your body know that your muscles don't have to work to hold your pose. You can relax your muscles as completely as they're able And let your props and the ground below support your pose. So nice. As you're ready, walk your left fingertip, toward the outside of your left ankle. And either resting onto your hand or propping your elbow onto a prop. And soften into your left side. Inhale, reach your right arm high. Big breath in. And as you exhale, let your right hand drop to the back of your head. It doesn't need to grip or hold anything. It's really just a place to let your hand rest. And of course, if you prefer, you're welcome to keep it reaching out long, but for most of us, that's going to be a little more effortful. And scan through your body to see where your muscles have engaged to help support your movement into this posture. And then once you're ready to settle into stillness, find an exhale breath and let your bones drop heavy. Muscles soft. You might find a few rounds of those breaths. And the exhale phase of breath is the yin part of breath, the letting go. And your exhales can help you locate the spaciousness that's available for you to drop into. In places you can soften. Long, even breaths help to communicate to your muscles that it's okay to let go. Brings the relaxation response of the nervous system online. And the parasympathetic nervous system, rest, restore, and digest mode. You're also supporting your system in processing, digesting everything from this winter season. Allowing you to move into the spring, a clean slate, renewed and refreshed. Open to receiving the seeds that you have planted during winter or during this time of transition. And again, notice where you feel the most sensation, where you're feeling it, you're activating or calling on that place in the meridians. When we work with one place, one spot along the meridian or the channel of energy, you're activating the whole thing. Bringing the natural wisdom of your body online to harmonize the chi for your liver and for gallbladder. This organ pair works together, yin and yang. The liver, the yin organ. That meridian starts right at the center of your big toenail, both sides, right and left. And travels along the inseam of both legs. The inside of your ankles, On the inside of both legs, all the way up toward your groin. And then along the sides of the torso, all the way up toward your breastbone. Yin organ, yin side of your legs, the center of your body. And the yang organ, gallbladder, and travels along the outside lines of the body, on both sides, right and left, and along the outside of your skull, and the back of your neck, the place where your neck meets your shoulders, and across the front of your shoulders, and zigzagging all the way down the outside of your torso, right and left, and the outside of both legs, and all the way down to the fourth toe on both sides. And breathe in with all of that juicy space in your right side. Maybe you feel your right elbow lift just a little bit higher. And open mouth, exhale. And let your right shoulder drop down. Bring both hands to your mat. And readjust with care. And take as much time as you need. And if you need to readjust your right leg or readjust your props, go ahead and do that. And follow your exhales to round forward, dropping your forehead toward your knee. It definitely doesn't need to reach there. In Yin Yoga, we're just allowing the shape to meet your body right where it is. Instead of trying to change or force your body to meet the aesthetic of a shape, let your body be just as it is. And build up your pose to meet you where you are. As you have your props in place, melt in towards stillness. As we hold our poses for time, you might find your thoughts wandering, time traveling into the past, whatever came before now, or imagining into the future of what might come after this. And again, it's no problem. My mind makes thoughts, just what it does. And you notice that your attention is wandering away from your body, out of your space, out of your practice. And begin again with a big, full-bodied breath, helping to bring you back into the feeling and sensing of your physical body. And I said that harmonized liver chi also helps to cultivate compassion, self-compassion, compassion for others, loving kindness, compassion for all of life on the planet. And helps to cultivate patience, like the patient trees that are in no rush, that continue to grow up and out, expanding into the environment, welcoming. And the patience of the buds that have been held closed tight. Waiting for the cold of winter to melt away. And so that colors start to peek through as the buds open and the petals blossom. No rush, no racing to bloom at the rate of their neighbors. Each flower opening up in her own time. Offering compassion to yourself as you move and grow in your own time. Letting your inner spring come through exactly as you're ready. No sooner, no rush. One of your longest breaths of your day so far. And then longer breath out. And come out again, little by little. Use your hands and either walk along each side of your leg or along the top of your shin and thigh. Head and neck rise last. As you pause here, where does your attention land in your body? Is there a particular place that feels really sensational? Maybe you can find a place that hardly feels any sensation at all, where you really have to concentrate on to feel and to connect to. When you're ready to move your left leg, use your hands and the muscles of your arms to help bend your knee. And maybe this side is the same rebound as your first side. Maybe it's different. If your body is asking for stillness, find the first shape that you're called to and settle in. If your body is asking for movement, you would move. When you're ready, we'll come back down to the mat and we'll be reclined for the rest of practice. So anything that you would like to have for the rest of practice, props or oils or creature comforts, just have them within arm's reach. And if possible, give yourself a little space on each side of your mat. As you come onto your back, you might find a big full body stretch. You might hug your knees into your chest. You might find a few circles with your knees clockwise and counterclockwise. Springtime is the inhale phase of breath. The very first transition from the bottom of your exhale, right as your breath starts again. Those first sips of fresh air. That's the spring of your breath. And see if you can tune in to that very first moment of drawing in a fresh new breath. And notice how it invigorates, animates, awakens within your body. And where do you feel that first sensation of breath? And bend your knees one at a time, bringing the soles of your feet to your mat. And our next few poses will link together. We'll do a few on one side and then the same series on the next. Beginning with figure 4, take an inhale, reach your right heel up toward the ceiling. You might wiggle your toes or circle your ankle. On an exhale, cross right ankle over your left knee. And let yourself just be in this first layer. Your right knee can fall away from your chest. You might rest your right hand toward the inside of your right knee. It doesn't need to push it away, just to help anchor your right knee so the muscles in your legs can relax. And this might be right where you stay for the next few minutes. And if you're feeling it, you're doing it. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can draw your knees in toward your chest. Left knee can come into your chest, maybe hands interlace at the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. If you have props available, you might bring a block or a cushion of some sort underneath your left foot. And then you can allow your arms to relax. If you happen to be practicing next to a wall, you can also move to put your left foot on the wall, roughly a 90-degree bend in your knee. And do the same thing, laying your shin over the top of a bed or a couch or a cleared off coffee table, depending on what your space looks like. And if you're using your hands to hold the back of your left thigh or the front of your shin, let your arms be long. Remove as much effort as possible from your grip. And let the structure of your bones do most of the work here of holding your pose in place. When we allow our muscles to relax, can shift the tensile load of gravity into the bones and joint capsules, finding a gentle traction for your ligaments and tendons, and muscle fascia. Yin Yoga is such a lovely practice to complement your more active endeavors. Whether it's a more active yoga practice, running, cycling, mountain climbing, whatever activities you enjoy. Our more active practices tend to focus on building strength or flexibility in our muscles. In Yin Yoga, we're strengthening the deeper, softer tissues. These parts of the body prefer a long-held traction. Such a good reminder that sometimes we strengthen through softening. Especially helpful as we move into longer days, warmer weather, and calls to venture out and explore. And it's still important to give yourself purposeful rest and restoration. And especially during times of transition, attention, mindfulness, are some of the best medicine. Even amongst the doing, and getting out into the spring, creating, and birthing your creations. Make sure there's still space to just be. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. And tuning in to the sensory experience, breath or movement, the sensations that rise and fall. And one more breath here. As you exhale, allow your left foot to come back down to your mat and slide your right thigh over to stack on top of your left. Just crossing your legs, left leg still on the bottom. And become aware of where the bottom of your right thigh meets the top of your left knee. Maybe the outside of your shins touching. And again, you can stay exactly as you are, or draw your knees into your chest. Hands can rest at the top of your knees or anywhere along the length of your shins. Reclined shoelace pose. You might eventually walk your hands down to your ankles, maybe all the way to your feet. Let your head, neck, and shoulders stay supported and resting on your mat. If your hands reach your feet without having to strain or engage your muscles to get there, you might try switching your grip so your palms come to the soles of your feet and your fingertips wrap around the pinky toe side and the outside edge of your foot. You can explore how it feels when you move your feet farther away from your hips, lifting your feet up and out. If you find somewhere interesting in between, somewhere that feels sticky or resistance, pause there. Allow yourself to breathe into that sensation. When we hold the poses over time, the sensation can rise and fall or shift. It might start as a very centralized sensation, bright green light, right at a pinpoint. And over time, as you stay with it, leaning into that edge of sensation, perhaps you observe the shift, like a drop of water, or a drop of food coloring rather, into a glass of water. It starts really concentrated, really bright, and slowly starts to dissipate as it moves out. Other times, a pose might start feeling really mellow. And over time, the sensation turns up. Remember, you can always change your mind. If anything starts to get into the neighborhood of risky pain, sharp, hot, you would simply readjust or come out of the pose. Maybe you come out to a halfway point. Maybe readjust your props. What would it look like to practice self-compassion by meeting your body exactly as it is today? What might your inner dialogue sound like? If it could be more self-compassionate. And take a deep inhale. As you exhale, send your knees over toward your left side, and coming into twisted roots. Just like a supine twist, your legs will come all the way down, whatever that means, whatever that looks like in your body, toward your left side. And again, nothing hanging out in space. So wherever your legs just naturally land, fill in all the space between your legs and the ground with your props. And that might be underneath your shins. It might be that one of your feet touches the ground and you're putting props underneath your knees. As you have your prop set up to support your low body, scoot your left shoulder over toward your left just a little bit, opening up space across your chest for your right shoulder to drop down. Extend your arms open wide, or maybe up overhead, maybe somewhere in between, or elbows bent. Gaze toward your right shoulder. You extend your twist all the way up through cervical spine. As always, these are just suggestions. If you maybe slept funny on your neck, or it's feeling really pinching to gaze in that direction, you would just switch your gaze back up to somewhere neutral or somewhere that feels good. And trust the sensations as messages from your body. If you need to unwind your legs, also completely welcome to do that. And stack your knees and ankles together in more of a traditional supine twist. In traditional Chinese medicine, the winter season is connected to the water element. And we can observe in nature how water helps to nourish the growth of wood. And the ground soaking up all of the water from the winter season. Getting drawn up through roots. Growing tall tree trunks toward the sun. the same cycle of the elements we can experience within our bodies. When we tune up the water element in the body, it helps to support the wood element. And as we support the wood element of the body in springtime, like we are today, it also sets you up to be prepared for the fire element that comes in the summer months. Each phase, each season, connected to the next. Each one with its own qualities to nourish, its own lessons. Each one with something important to offer. A reminder to be patient with your own growth. When you can fully be present where you are, when you can get where you want to go. What new input your sense is tuning into? Maybe a new tone of sound, a new sensation or temperature in your body. You stay present to the subtle shifts, the ebbs and flows of sensation or emotion or thought. Allowing them to pass through, like fluffy clouds blowing across the sky in the wind. One of your deepest breaths. And a big, luxurious exhale. In your own time, in your own way. Unwind toward a mini shavasana. Tracking for internal movement. Maybe your awareness settles more into one side or the other. As you unwind your legs from this deep compression, maybe a sense of energy rushing back through. Like when you fold a garden hose in half and the kink stops the water. That water pressure is still coming in, still building up. So that when you release, there's that big rush that washes through, clearing out any blockages or stagnation. Our energy, our chi, works in much the same way. Our poses help to harmonize the flow of chi, supporting optimal functioning of your organs and all your internal systems. And just by being here, You are gifting yourself benefits for physical body, energetic body, your mental and emotional space, like a tune-up, and then the inside out. And bend your knees one at a time. And we'll take that same journey on the left side. Inhale your left heel up toward the ceiling. Maybe you wiggle your toes or circle your ankle. On an exhale, cross your left ankle over your right knee, figure 4. And even though you might know where you're headed on this side, take it one layer at a time. Let your left knee just melt away from your shoulder. And allow this new layer of sensation and this new shape to register in your body. As the newness of that movement fades, maybe you move again, perhaps drawing your right knee in closer to your chest or stepping your right foot onto a prop or propping it onto the wall. You might interlace your hands at the back of your right thigh or the front of your shin. And if you are holding your legs with your arms, again, try to let your muscles relax as much as they're able. The intention of this pose, in the context of today's practice, is in accessing the meridians in the lower part of your body, the inseam of your left leg, gentle compression in your hips. And so it's okay if there's a little bit of effort in your upper body. And try to let your head, neck, and shoulders relax. And see if your grip can loosen just by 1%. And still offer the stability and anchoring your pose, your shape as it is. The inner climate of spring is windy, mirroring the external climate of spring. And the equinox is a day of transition, marking the halfway point between solstices, equal light and dark. And the pendulum swinging back towards center. And the winds of spring are here to stir up your awareness and to awaken your senses. Helping you to transition from the inward focused solitude and stillness of winter into nourishing seeds of intention water, light, and attention. It's the season for your intentions to start taking root, sprouting up to the surface. Like a fresh spring breeze. And these practices of attunement help to bring you into the spring season, alive, refreshed. And find a long inhale, even longer exhale. And set your right foot back down to your mat. Almost like you're moving in slow motion. And cross your left thigh over top of your right. And let that new layer just land in your body. And notice the compression in between your legs. And all the places where your body touches the ground. And keeping you rooted, connected. If you did on the first side, I just want to try it on here. Draw your knees in toward your chest. And one step at a time. Begin with hands at your knees or the top of your shins. And slowly walking them down. Notice each new sensation. How does the sensation shift in location or intensity as you move your hands toward your ankles or feet? And exploring in your own body lab. Get curious about your pose and the sensation of this shape. Move your feet farther out or closer in toward your hips until you find your just right spot. And to settle in to your inner stillness. And the taste of this season is sour, like bright citrus fruits. the same way that activating one area along a meridian activates the entire channel, and practices that support any one of the elements that are connected to one another, or the characteristics: spring, wood, liver, gallbladder, vision, ligaments and tendons, and also helps to support all of the others. It flows in both directions. And practices of attunement for liver and gallbladder meridian, helping to harmonize emotions of compassion and patience, but also practicing patience and compassion, helping to benefit your energetic body, liver, gallbladder, and clarity of vision, physically and archetypally. All connected and working harmoniously. And all of this just by being here. Nothing more you need to do, no more effort needed. One more full-bodied breath here. An easy exhale, moving into your twist, twisted roots pose. This time both knees move toward your right side. Fill in any space with props so that your bones are fully supported and your muscles can relax. Bring your gaze toward your left shoulder. Let your arms rest wherever feels natural, wherever feels most easeful in your body. Imagine yourself standing or sitting or lying in the center of a bright, lush forest. Birds chirping, plants sprouting up and beginning to bloom. New life teeming on the fertile soil below you. And the animals who call the forest home, stirring from their winter slumber. And you can feel the entire environment around you and within you waking up. And allow that feeling of aliveness to settle into your body right now, right here. Every cell of your being buzzing with new life. with potential for the season to come. All that has been simmering over the cold winter months. Starting to bubble up and stretch out and take form. Notice how this sense of springtime feels in your inner landscape. What is coming up through the surface, ready to be seen and nurtured and expressed. A season of renewal and rebirth on all levels. The springtime soil is rich in nutrients, and fertile and supporting life. Your inner spring also offers this nutrient-dense, fertile soil for birthing your ideas, your creations, your intentions. And even if you don't yet know what those are, you tune in to feel the sensations of your senses, of whatever else feels most alive for you at this time. Easy breath in. Easy breath out. Unwind once again toward your Shavasana. Rest your arms down to your sides. Legs might reach long. If there's any other movement or poses that your body is asking for, feel free to take your own journey toward your Shavasana. You might bring a prop to the back of each knee, like a bolster, helping to release your low back. You might have a blanket laid across you for warmth and weight, or even just fold it across hips and chest. Before you completely settle into Shavasana, your hands down to your sides and feel along the outside of your legs on both sides, right and left, right where your fingertips kind of naturally fall at your sides. And there's a acupressure point here. You can feel around somewhere that just kind of sinks in a little bit. It might be a little bit tender. right around the tips of your fingers. This point is called the Winds of Market point. A windy spring, time of transition, of turning over the wheel of the sacred cycle, life, death, rebirth. That cycle is mirrored in our own internal cycles, in the seasons of our lifetimes. And we know that it's all connected. Breath, body, heart, mind, internal and external environments, all of life on our planet. Our senses connected to the seasons and connected to the elements, all woven together into this beautiful and complex tapestry of the human experience. Very gently let your hands fall down to your sides or out wide. Feel free to take up space. Find whatever position helps you to be your most relaxed. In Shavasana, we release all practices, even mindfulness of breath and sensation. Pose of ultimate integration. Let yourself marinate in all that you have set into motion in your practice today, and all that you've cultivated here on your mat. Letting your inner spring take root, settling into every cell of your being, and breathing in fresh, new life. Shavasana. This day is not like the rest. A new spring uncovers glimmering hints of hope from winter months spent in corners of cozy. A new you rises, blooming like the season. You are a day older, perhaps a whole year. You are wiser, yet still the same as you ever were, in this process of becoming a little more in your skin. And breathe in. And breathe out. Allow your body to begin the process of reawakening, little by little. Your breath bringing movement back in, the rise and fall of your chest, rippling out into movements through shoulders and fingers and toes. You might rock your chin from side to side. Maybe take a big good morning stretch. Or hug yourself into a big, big hug. And feel free to stay exactly as you are. Or make your way up toward a seat. Maybe you pause in supported fetal posture or any other shapes you like along the way. And we'll seal in our practice together with 3 waves of breath. One hand to your chest, one hand to your low belly. As you breathe into your palms, your low belly rise and expand like a balloon. And then into your rib cage and all the way into your upper chest, upper heart. And exhale, empty all the way out. And just like that, big breath in. And big breath out. And once more. Hands gathered at heart center, and deepest gratitude to each and every one of you, and to this practice of yoga that brings us together to share time and space. I bow. Namaste. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night and happy spring. Take care, friends.